Okay, so an example, and this, it's a small. Well, it's an example of how someone, a medical professional, can get involved in your situation and make damning statements that can work against you and harm you. And this isn't wasn't catastrophic, but all of these things can really work against you. So someone was involved in trying to help me advocate, and they led me towards this team of people that were going to do a cognitive behavioral therapy with me for insomnia. It's called CBTI. And generally I would recommend this for people, because for who are having, insomnia. But when your insomnia is coming from a medical origin, the root cause is a medical issue that you need medical help with, and you're in actual medical crisis, and you need medical care. You need urgent medical care, like a sleep study and CPAP or whatever, right? You shouldn't be led to CBTI when urgent care is needed more than cognitive behavioral therapy. Then and so, I mean, I'm not discouraging anybody. I think you should get CBTI and try it out. I've never done it, but I know what cognitive behavioral therapy is, and it's fantastic. It can be really beneficial. I've never done CBTI. There's cognitive behavioral therapy, and then someone invented this program, cognitive behavioral therapy for insomnia, called CBTI. And it's based on the original cognitive behavioral therapy. And I've never done CBTI, but I have done CBT, and years ago, and it was really beneficial. So, and someone who was trying to advocate for me led me towards this team of people. I was in urgent medical crisis, urgent medical need, and they led me to this. And I knew it wasn't right. And I was sleeping only 1 or 2 hours a night, and so out of it, so in crisis, worse than I am now. And like literally only sleeping 1 hour every 24 hours or 2 hours every 24 hours. And really out of my mind, right? In a state of terror and trauma. And I was led to this team of people. I really didn't know who they were or what was going on. And we were doing this during the pandemic and via Skype. And also I'm too sick to get around. I don't have a vehicle. So it's just so insane that no one was with me helping me navigate this. It's so insane to plunk someone in front of a team of people, and the patient is so sick and out of their mind and literally needs someone with them explaining what's going on. Like, it was just ludicrous how this happened. And so we talked about what my needs were, and how many years ago was this? I think it was still during the pandemic. And I needed everything. I needed advocacy. I needed hands-on help in my house. I needed help with house cleaning. Just, I mean, There were years where I did laundry once a year. Every single dish in the in the house was dirty. I needed help with everything, and I had no help. And so we talked about what my needs were, and one of the, there was a pharmacist on board, a physical therapist, which, I needed physical therapy, but when you're asleep because of the nerve damage and actual physical damage happening to me, but when you're sleeping only 1 or 2 hours a night, how do you get back and forth for physical therapy, and you're out of your mind and you're so critically sleep deprived that you're in actual medical crisis, and we're talking about physical therapy? How's that going to happen? And then a social worker, potentially for, to assess, what are my actual needs. And me, she wanted to one of my urgent needs was I needed help in my house. I needed help with house cleaning. I needed hands-on help here in this, in a disaster situation. And I don't think she was willing to come and help or assess. But so I was in a state of actual brain injury and physical injury, from this medication injury. I was being ripped apart with nerve damage. I needed an advocate to go with me to medical appointments. I was having breathing issues, oxygen issues, stopping breathing at night, apnea, trouble walking, trouble, all of this, and actually being brain injured and nervous system injured, and severe trauma, right? Psychological trauma and physical trauma, right? And it was like I was breathing in black smoke for years. And I had dropped foot, and there were times I couldn't feel my hands and feet. There were times my oxygen was dropping down to 70 awake. And sleeping only 1 or 2 hours every 24 hours. I was literally out of my mind when I was sitting in front of these people in these couple Skype sessions. I was so out of it, and I so needed someone here beside me navigating these appointments with me. And the social worker, okay, so I own my own home. I've worked most of my life until I couldn't work anymore. I eventually became so sick that I had to quit my full-time job, and then years went by, got sicker and sicker, had to quit my part-time job. I'm a mom, I'm a wife, I've got dogs, I've got a house to care for, a big yard to care for, a job to go to, running kids around, extracurricular activities, my child's activities, my activities, all my interests and hobbies, taking care of dogs, running dogs for haircuts, running dogs to the vet, my kids' life, my life. Husband passed away, constant big yard to care for, cooking, cleaning, school stuff, my work stuff, uh, running a tight ship and multitasking nonstop for decades, right? If you're a mom and you got a house and a child and dogs and work and school, you're multitasking nonstop. You're running a tight ship, right? You got to know what you're doing. You're multitasking. Even when you're watching TV, you're doing 20 things in your mind. You're planning for school lunch tomorrow. You're planning for activity. It's nonstop. And so I'm sitting here in medical crisis, out of my mind. The house is out of control. Everything's breaking down. The house hasn't been cleaned in years. And I'm in need of urgent medical care. And I'm out of my mind. I'm drowning in the house. And this social worker, listened to the whole story and everything. I'm fighting to get into the hospital. I need these guys to help me. And the social worker, took all of this in. And her assessment of the situation was that I needed time management skills. I didn't know how to manage my time. That was her professional assessment. Rather than sending help, rather than coming to help, you're going to try to make... She wanted to teach me time management skills. Teach someone who's been, multitasking for decades without a problem. All of a sudden, this person who's fully capable somehow lost all their time management skills? That was her assessment? How did I lose all my time management skills? Maybe because I was in physical and like brain crisis, in need of urgent care, and being brain injured and incapable of doing one task, let alone multitasking. I couldn't even sort a load of laundry if I tried. And having slept an hour each night. But you get someone like this, and then if they're writing notes if they're part of your medical team and they're writing these things down for other medical professionals to see, and it makes it look like you're not trying hard enough, or you're too stupid, you've never cleaned a house before. Like, someone's completely misguided perception of your situation can, look really bad on paper. It can make you look like you're not trying, or you don't care, or you're depressed, or it's a mental health issue, or you're mentally deficient and you don't know how to clean a house when you've done it for decades. Like, all sorts of people, professionals, can come into your situation that can throw a wrench into things and mislead other people to think that your situation is something that it isn't,